be happy. The landlord say your rent is late. He may have to litigate, but don't worry.
You are listening to The Landords, an intersection of marketing, resource, and advocacy for the real estate and building construction industries in Nigeria. For your brand promotions, ad placements, live appearances, and other inquiries, please contact 091-575-70635. 091-575-70635.
Each man on earth that is a salary earner. Everyone that is wealthy today, they don't depend on salary alone. Number two, there is no rich man on earth that has only one source of income.
Never.
Not one. Number three, every rich man on earth, all of them without fail, real estate is part of what they use to retain their wealth. So when I study, I say, that's when I realized that I don't discover the principle. I now apply it, my brother. In this same Nigeria, in 3 years, my story changed. In 3 years, I say, now so easy. Why? Because let me use this to help pastors. Now, I was a pastor, full-time man of God. I've been a pastor, I've been in ministry since 1988, 89. And this now, I'm discovering this in 1998 to remember. I don't do the full-time.
10 years
I don't
later.
do anything. I'm called to ministry. We're just going to serve God. I carry certificate. I drop am. When I started this church 29 years ago, the church I pastor now, I was full-time. I was working, I left the job. Say, God, don't call me. I left job, sat down. I will sit down at home in my mother's house in the Kotu. And then I will be sitting down. People will be going to say, Pastor, good morning, sir. Please, I bought a wagon. The man didn't give me change. He said he will come around 11, but I don't go there, me collect change. True life story. 1995. This was my life. When I started this church, 1995, they will do. Please, when you're, let me take key. I became an errand boy. So I began to ask, come, you are called, you are anointed, you are sitting down. Are you sure this full-time thing is not foolishness? You mean that God called you to sit down to be collecting key and they were going to change? Go and revisit this thing. That's when I broke free from this full-time something. So when 1998 now came, because see, you can be poor as a single man.
There's a Nigerian based in Cape Town. He owns 800 RDP houses. Our people are paying rent to him. Now, you must tell me, what type of government do we have? There's others here. When I campaign, when you go to Terfontein, our people are renting houses from Nigerians. What type of government do we have?
But clearly that's a policing issue as well.
No, it's a leadership issue. It's a leadership issue. If you are not leading for the police to do what's right, then we're going to have a problem. I went with the MMC of Public Safety last week, Saturday, to Hillbrow and to UV. People are renting from Nigerians. A guy said there's a Congolese guy who comes here once a month to collect money for rent. And at the back of that house, they're selling drugs.
Sure.
And you say, our government knows these hotspots.
You are listening to The Landords, an intersection of marketing, resource, and advocacy for the real estate and building construction industries in Nigeria. For your brand promotions, ad placements, live appearances, and other inquiries, please contact 091-575-70635. 091-575-70635.
And warm welcome to the intersection of marketing, resource, and advocacy for the built industry. We've been talking for some time now about real estate, housing, home and abroad, and we'll try to bring that to a close today as we'll be bringing you the B part of my one-on-one with Femi Fadairo. Before now, you just heard you heard Kenny Kureni, South African businessman and politician who's also an activist, talking about how Nigerians are taking over the real estate market space in SA. So, I mean, it's a global thing. If you're here to invest in real estate, well, you're probably doing crypto, you're probably doing something else, but real estate is a sure way to hold value. I tell you that, regardless of what the economy is like, and that's what we're here to help you make sense of what's happening, to point you in the right direction, especially with regards to your real estate investments. The Landlords. My name is One Plot. Feels good to be back here on the airwaves of Honor 103.5 on the FM, out here in the Oyo State capital, IB City. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget we're online on www.metrocopy.com. So much to look out for, so keep your fingers crossed. We'll bring you highlights later on the program, highlights from some of our friends based in Canada, based in the United Kingdom, who sent in their views on housing, home and abroad as we close that series this beautiful Thursday. But before then, let's see what's happening here and there. Development activity in commercial property in Lagos declines 11% due to inflation and weak naira. There are bright spots in the hospitality and industrial sectors, according to a new 2024 Lagos Real Estate Development Pipeline report by Estate Intel. The report notes that the office sector recorded a slight increase in its development pipeline at 16.25% of total stock compared to 14% in 2022. You can always rely on Estate Intel for accurate African real estate market intelligence. I mean, they use a large database of historical property prices, vacancy rates, transactions, project team data. I mean, a lot at their disposal. Arguably the largest, database, real estate building construction database, Estate Intel. So this will help institutional investors, governments, and individuals alike to execute property investments successfully, if I may, all things being equal. So if you want a copy of the latest Estate Intel, you can reach out to me, and I'll provide you with a soft copy. More homeless Lagosians may be on the way as the Federal Housing Authority may commence a fresh demolition exercise in Festival Town. According to the Housing Authority's MD, people around the 6th Avenue precisely should look out. I think they already have their buildings marked. So they're saying that if you can go on to demolish these buildings yourself, you won't lose your title. You won't lose your title. They'll probably just make sure that you have your land. But if they should be the ones to come demolish, then you're going to lose your title. So I think that if you already have your houses marked around that part of Lagos, you should act quickly so that you can, like they say, half bread is better than none, if that's right. But it's not so. I mean, it's not something to cheer about, but then it only speaks to how you need to do your due diligence before you put in money in real estate, and that's why we're here for you, to help you with the information you need. In Oyo State, the OIBPA is giving property owners about 60 days, to regularize their building permits within. I think they started on Monday, so they have between now, that's today's 28th of August and 27th of October, to go regularize their building permits, and they would be doing that with a discount of 20%. So I think that's good. If you know someone who has a structure and they don't have their structures registered with state government, you need to nudge them and have them do something about it. Thank you once again for joining us at the intersection of marketing, resource, and advocacy for the built industry. One Plot is my name. We appreciate your listenership. I've got Femi Fadairo, the managing director of Tafotech company or group of companies, here with me in the studios for the B part of our 101. The last person on the 101 we had was the MD, Costain West Africa PLC, Mr. Ayodeji Karim. So it's good to have someone else join us to look at to look at some parts of the built industry, not all of it, but real estate, building construction, and whatnot. Thank you, Femi, for taking our time this morning.
Thank you very much, Michael, for having me on this lovely Thursday. Good to see you.
Yeah, looking sharp as usual.
Thank you very
Now,
much.
the Oyo State government has commenced a 60-day online building permit amnesty (OIBPA) program aimed at regularizing buildings that were constructed without proper government approval. And this, I think, is a step in the right direction, although people are saying that, well, it's just a way to, show up revenue. But I think the amnesty, I think people should key into this. But so I got, sending this out to people, I got feedback from a major investor in media and housing and whatnot. Is Anotumba from Ogun State? I don't want to, since he didn't give me a go ahead to say his name. He said that what will government do in return? And I mean that the Oyo State government should also be doing something in return. That if people pay all of these taxes, then they want better infrastructure. They want some things in return. What's your take on this?
Oh well, with regards to the demolition of the murder that might be going on, or
In
the
Lagos,
amnesty,
the amnesty
sorry,
here in Ibadan,
that might
yeah.
be going on. I think it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it's good.
Because if you haven't regularized your paperwork or your document, I think it's actually good the government's giving you the leeway to actually get this done and get it done right. Ideally, before you actually start any construction, you should have done all of this.
Yes.
So them giving you the opportunity to do it before taking action is actually a good thing. And at the end of the day, I'm an advocate for lean thinking, especially in a government like ours. I don't think we are that buoyant as an economy, or as a country, or as a state to create infrastructure in the whole of Nigeria or in the whole of the areas people are actually living in. So why not, deal with people who will build these estates and then let the government deal with the links of the estates, if you understand what I mean.
The supporting infrastructure and
supporting exactly.
Infrastructure,
So,
yeah.
for instance, what is going on in Abuja at the moment, where you have this modular estates, all the infrastructure has been done by the owners of the estates, which are private companies majorly, some public as well. But the major roads linking these estates are actually very, very good. So it's rare before you drive in Abuja. I'm using Abuja as a yardstick, which is quite far-fetched, to be honest.
It
but
is.
Nonetheless, you benchmark with the best in the country.
Yeah, that should be like your standard.
This should be your standard. So,
Standard, yeah.
Ideally, you have the modular estates, you have the major roads done by the state government, and maybe the minor roads done by the local government, and then from within your estates, the infrastructure done by by the developers.
Well, we're going to talk extensively about private sector participation in the reduction of our country's housing deficit, and if they can go about this significantly without support from government. You're already talking about what government can do, but you know what, just hold on a second. We're going to pick some bills. When we come back, we'll start to talk more about some of these issues, especially the real estate sector that didn't do too well. First half of the year. This is another half coming. What your expectations are, and where the strategic growth parts should be for investors. That's coming right after this timeout. In case you just tuned in, it's the Landlords on Honor 103.5 on the FM. I'm One Plot. Thank you for joining us once again. We'll be right back.
On the 103.5 FM.
Do you need a reliable and super fast unlimited internet for your business and home use? If yes, iWorld Networks is your solution with our uptime affordable internet via fixed broadband. No data caps and throttling. You can enjoy your distance learning, business meetings, and family time with our reliable internet. With 24/7 proactive customer support and 99.8% uptime. We also provide connectivity for offices, schools, financial services, hotels, government, etc. Chat with us on www.iwn.ng. iWorld Networks, we've got you covered. Sign up and get connected today.
The essence of interior design will always be about people and how they live. It is about the realities of what makes for an attractive, civilized, and meaningful home environment. This is our foremost concern at Mr. Johnson Furniture and Interior Decoration, and this is why we stay faithful to your own taste, because nothing you really like is ever out of style. Mr. Johnson Furniture and Interior Decoration, we specialize in importing and delivering quality royal beds, sofas, lights, and doors to every home across Nigeria. We are located inside Duga Fort Filling Station in Lewura Junction, Akala Express, Ibadan. Call us up on 080-913-35706 or send a WhatsApp message to 090-445-30230. We don't just sell quality products. Our maintenance team is on standby to give free routine maintenance for a whole year after purchase. Mr. Johnson Furniture, our passion is to bring affordable luxury to every home and offices.
You fit, you fit, you fit, you fit, you fit fly.
Do you know the key to unlock your dreams of traveling abroad to different destinations like USA, Canada, UK, Australia, and other countries in Europe is at your doorstep?
All you need do is just pitch your tent with You Fit Fly, and we shall show you the world in comfort. Oh yes, we're still leading in ticketing, flight reservation, airport transfer, special vacation, hotel reservation, international travel consulting, tour package, travel insurance, and holy pilgrimage, and others.
If you therefore wish to study abroad or travel to different countries around the world, we are here to give you that opportunity.
At You Fit Fly office,
Block 8, Plot 15, 7 Up Road, Oluyole Main Estate, Ring Road, Ibadan, 0901 111 1190.
Website www.youfitfly.com. With You Fit Fly, you shall see the world in comfort.
Hello there. A golden opportunity is here for everyone desiring to invest in farming with a prospect of making great profits and creating wealth. This is brought to you
by Safe Casa Realty.
It's a bountiful package where you buy acres of land with palm tree plantations spanning from 1 year to 1.5 years, while you make huge profits from palm oil, PK oil, PKC, animal feeds, and lots more. Both 1 acre of land and palm trees are sold for just 2 million naira. Also, landed properties with cashew and banana plantations are available for instant sales. This landed property with palm tree plantation is located at Areoje along Ibadan Iseyin New Expressway. To therefore enjoy this bountiful package, please call
080-7777-4880.
Buy landed property with palm trees and make great fortunes.
On the 103.5 FM.
You are listening to The Landords, an intersection of marketing, resource, and advocacy for the real estate and building construction industries in Nigeria. For your brand promotions, ad placements, live appearances, and other inquiries, please contact 091-575-70635. 091-575-70635.
I live in Telford, West Midlands, UK. And I can say this part of the UK is a place where you have cheap price of houses, or say house rent, better than places like London. Although I had places like in the north, part of the north, like Middlesbrough, Sunderland. There are places cheaper as well. But this part, West Midlands, you have 2 bedrooms of 670, 750, 800, depending on what you have in those houses. Some are not furnished, some are pre-furnished, some are fully furnished. And you need to understand the fact that it is not about being furnished or not being furnished that made the price like that. It is the quality that has been put into the construction of these houses. Yeah, the houses in the UK are well built, well set up to withstand environmental problems, environmental issues like thunder, like rainstorm, like wind. Yeah, so houses that cannot come down, that cannot be destroyed by thunder. Yeah. If there should be an earthquake, these are houses that cannot just sink. It is one of those things they put into it, technology that they use to build them, to keep the people inside safe, to keep the house safe. That's why these houses, sometimes some of them are more than 30 years and they still look like new. And it is the quality that they put into it that made it look so. So you can't compare the house rates here in the UK to what things in Nigeria. You know, you can get flats, 3-bedroom flats like that in Nigeria for 750, 850, or even more. And you can, begin to put that rate into the same rate that I mentioned here. 680 per month, 680 pounds per month, 800 pounds per month. Yes, it's what you have here. In London, you can have 2 rooms for 1,500. Yeah, part of London, not even inside. Outside London, you can have 3 bedrooms, 2,000, 1,700 pounds. It is, and we paid monthly, not yearly like we do in Nigeria.
Well. Housing, home and abroad. That was Dokun all the way from the UK, talking about rents. I mean, the high cost of rentals is on the increase, even here in Nigeria. And people are wondering, people are thinking that it's probably here in Nigeria alone, but it's all over the world. Out there in the UK, in Canada, people are saying that rent is also on the high now, on the high side. So it's not, I think the global economic downturn, if I may, is taking its toll on the housing market globally. Now, back to you, Femi. The real estate sector didn't do too well in the first half of the year. I mean, investors such as yourself, this is obvious, really. You see all of these houses here and there these houses should have been sold, but they're still there, just sitting there. And but what do you think should be the sort of strategies that investors should adopt now that they have their funds tied down? I mean, all things being, we know that things should pick up, especially if your type of housing is strategic to what the people want where you're investing, because that's also important. But what do you think that the growth parts are likely to be as we enter into the last half of the year and go into another year?
Well, Michael, real estate is the cash cow that keeps giving.
Mm-hmm.
You'll milk it for life. Do you understand? If you get your strategies right.
Yeah.
You start low. As the year goes on, it will actually increase. So it's just the regular ones that we are all used to. So you have the residential ones. You can still put your money in residential letting. Do you understand? The lettings market. Your regular landlord, tenants, you can still invest in that. And what that does is, your cash, it increases your cash flow. At this set time, you have this cash coming in. You can also do a long lease.
Mm-hmm.
That also helps in planning. Do you understand?
Yeah.
The residential lettings, that's a good strategy to go. The next one is the buy to, the fix and flip.
Yes, look for distressed buildings or
You
people
buy
who
the
are-
worst house
and then
you do it up.
not distressed because that might be something.
It's still, I kid you not, but in terms of it, one person where someone's actually ended, that's where another one's actually starting. Do you understand? So if the person is feeling, I need this money, the person is
Distress
distressed.
sales.
Yeah. So you just give them a reasonable offer.
So you're not going to be spending much on construction in the in the long run. You're just probably going to change the roof, the windows.
Exactly. So that one is fix and flip, and one that is hot at the moment is holiday homes. Airbnb. That's another major strategy that we have a lot of people in the diaspora that always want to come home. It's easier to actually manage. You can manage it from the comfort of your sofa wherever you are.
Yes.
All you need is that security guard that can look after the property once they leave.
You can just have CCTVs here and there. You're watching, you're looking.
In terms
around
of
the clock.
In terms of CCTV, you have to be careful for people's privacy.
No, I'm saying,
understand?
okay, since it's
Outside.
hospitality, more or
Yeah,
less. I'm saying
so-
at key places, you see who's parking, who's
Exactly.
going in, who's
Exactly.
going out, all of those things.
Yeah, so.
Well, good one. Now, Dubai is a global real estate destination today, no doubt. Do you think there are lessons for Nigeria and the Dubai success story? I mean, we seem to have all it takes to have a thriving housing market. See what Dubai is like now. People virtually, anytime there's a leak, you find out that Nigerian politicians are, notable investors in the Dubai real estate market.
Yeah.
People are going there.
Yeah.
It's not even an emerging market, it's a solid market.
Yeah.
So do you think there are lessons for Nigeria to learn how Dubai has been able to use real estate, tourism and all of that to rejuvenate, if I may, their economy?
Oh yeah. So Dubai is a country that is diversifying from their. Let's start with this. Let's look at what Dubai has, and let me answer your question first. I think yes.
There are lessons.
Yeah, there are lessons to it. Let's start from what Dubai has.
Yeah.
Oil.
Yeah.
Abundance of it. It's a thriving tourism system.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to go to Dubai. Do you understand? Very brilliant leadership. Do you understand? And another thing is, a hub to the world, which is their flight system, the Emirates.
Yeah.
What don't they have?
Land.
What don't they have? A good entertainment industry.
Okay, because of their restrictions.
Yeah, because
and
of
all
their
of that.
yes, an emerging space for technology.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Education.
Abundance of raw
IT.
materials. They don't have that. Do you understand? What does Nigeria have? All of that, except one or two things, which is, and another thing Dubai has been able to do is eloquently communicate their goals and visions sell their dreams
to the world.
To not only the world, because you have to convince your people before you convince the world. Do you understand?
To buy trust.
To buy trust. So they've been able to do that. So what don't we have in Nigeria? I wouldn't say we don't have good leadership.
But do we?
Well, to an extent, we actually do. We actually do. Do you understand? And all, and
like your
everything. And so we have reasonable leadership. Let me put it that way. Not totally good. There are some things they're doing good. There are some things they're doing but not too good at. Do you understand? So what?
But it's not all doom.
So it is not all doom and gloom. It is not all doom and gloom. So imagine Nigeria now putting all of these good things in place. We don't have an airline. Nigeria could potentially be the hub to Africa.
We still don't have a national carrier, do we?
We don't.
I read in the news that they might be converting some of that. I think Dana and Arik or something. I'm not sure. I have to check that again to national carriers.
Well,
I don't know what to do.
Who knows what they could do? Nigeria to anywhere in Africa is within 4 hours. anywhere you're going in Africa. The longest
Even
is
if you're
far.
going to the south.
Anywhere. So
Or to the
imagine
east.
everybody literally comes into Nigeria before going anywhere. We will force them to stay in a Nigerian hotel.
Yes.
Do you understand? They will have the layover. They will enjoy by fire, by force, what we have to sell. That's what Ethiopia is doing.
Yes.
Do you understand? You'll be forced to enjoy their hospitality. If you enjoy their hospitality, you'll buy their real estate. If you enjoy staying in Dubai during a layover, you'd want to see what is outside Dubai. And that is what Dubai has done very, very well. So many things we have to learn from them. So many things. So, if we can harness what Dubai has been doing into our own system, you have our leadership communicate our dreams, trust me, we will be actually greater than Dubai.
But how long do you see that? Do you see that happening in this generation?
Well,
because to lay the foundation for all of this will take years.
Yeah.
But I think that the Dubai story, for whether it's real estate, hospitality, from oil and gas, away from oil and gas to where Dubai is,
tourism.
Even when it comes to tech,
Yep.
It's a journey of like 20 years or thereabouts.
Dubai's tech,
20 years back.
Dubai's level of entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
in terms of tech, is nothing compared to Nigeria's.
Eventually.
No, even at the moment. So let's look at the likes of the companies coming out of Nigeria in terms of tech.
No, I'm just saying that the journey that brought Dubai this far is like 20 years, isn't it?
Yeah, if not more. Well, if
25.
Not, yeah,
Give or
about
take.
20 years. About
20
years.
from
Yeah.
away from being that dusty
about 20
Middle
years,
Eastern
yeah,
part
yeah,
of the world.
yeah.
to where it
Actually
is now.
longer, but
maybe 30.
Yeah.
Maybe 30, but it
Mhm.
was consistent journey towards a mark.
Yeah.
And it was right, shall I say, under our nostrils. Like we all saw it happen.
Yeah.
Americans also want to fly to Dubai. They see
Yeah.
it to be a place that's like an alternative to what they're used to out there. How long do you think it would take us to get there?
Let me tell you one thing. Do you know when Dubai had that oil boom? I hope you remember Nigeria also had the same boom.
Yeah.
If you recollect properly, when Okonjo-Iweala was actually there was this boom then.
There was a boom, yeah.
Do you understand? Before we had the bust in '97, so in 2007, I beg your pardon. So with the way things are right now, with the fiscal policies the government's actually put in place, give or take, the Statista, they actually rate Nigeria's real estate sector. It's a website that does data, to actually grow by 7% from 2024 to 2029. And they actually rate the UK 3% within the same period. Do you understand? So give or take, if we are willing to communicate if the government is willing to communicate their dreams and goals to us, I give us another 15, 20 years,
But
Nigeria will be there.
We've heard about Vision 2020. We've heard about different types of like a Nigerian dream that we should
Priorities changed over time.
But do you think there's a vision that we're following, not just for real estate, for Nigeria as a place now?
At the moment, no.
There's no dream yet.
At the
There's
moment,
there's no clear cut.
At the moment, no. Well, the thing is, there could have been a dream at some point. But due to, obviously, the craziness going on around the world, if I'm allowed to use that word, you have the COVID 2020. You have the Ukrainian war and the ban on Russian exports.
That's a thing.
And then you now have the Israel war. And then you now have the US-China war, financial war, albeit. So
Trade war.
Trade war. These things will actually affect Nigeria because we depend on these things to actually move on.
But that I think that before we talk about affordable housing in Nigeria, because we have to wrap this all up, and how government can ease the home ownership barriers for the people. Now, The Oyo State government is about to upgrade the airport to international standard. I think it holds a lot of opportunities for the state to shore up its revenue base, but how feasible do you think that is? If you consider all the supporting infrastructure that should be in place for you to want to fly out of the country from Nigeria. I mean, the idea sounds good, but then a lot of things will need to go into it. The psyche of the people, security, and infrastructure, basically. A lot will be needed for you to say you want to fly out from Alakia, or you want to probably have a stop over, and maybe there's a connecting flight or something, or you just want to stay and the following day you head out. How long do you think it would take us to prepare for all of that to be what it should be?
So that is a welcome development as well.
Yes, it is.
Because at the end of the day, if you are looking at the likes of New York, right, you have JFK, and I think is it and then there is it LaGuardia? There's another airport in New Jersey, which is not too far from New York. The Lagos airport is packed.
It is.
It is absolutely packed. So
I know that the Lagos state government is also having another airport along Lekki or something.
They said they are. Do you understand? they actually said they are. But at the end of the day, if I live in Akure,
I don't have to go to Lagos. Just come to Ibadan.
Just come to Ibadan.
Yeah.
So everything depends on how much the government's actually willing to put on it, and they would see it as a risk, and it's not something that's achievable in 4 years.
No, it's not. It's not.
Do you understand? It's not something that's achievable in 4 years.
Because I know there's I don't know which of the governors now, the state governor, I think that's Dr. Fayemi, who's tied this airport, and no plane is landing or flying there now. So people are saying that this is a complete waste, a total waste of taxpayers' money, the airport in Ekiti. No plane is landing or flying from there. And I think 20 billion naira is upwards.
So this is where the issue is. We have Cocoa House owned by Odudua, yes. Investment. Why can't these southwest states
come together
to develop something of sorts
around the airport?
Around the airport, even build the airport. Do you understand? Fine, it will be or your state could be the host. We've given you the the land and the space, and
tax waivers,
and then we have we are accessible to everyone. We are accessible to Ekiti. We are accessible to Ilorin. We are accessible to an extent to Benin. We are accessible to Ondo. All of you come together. Make this an international airport. Let's an international airport is more or less like a glorified shopping mall.
Yeah, that's why I talked about supporting
there
infrastructure.
There is so many things that
there has to be a shopping mall there. I mean, tourism around the tourism potentials of that area will need to be uplifted.
Exactly.
That's when it will be what it should be.
So I don't think the state could do it unless there is like a major investment, partnership.
It can't even be one person. It has to be different players, private sector participation, because I don't know how much our IGR is in the state right now. But you have your wage obligations.
Oh yeah.
You have other things you need to attend to in the state. So how are you going to be able to do that? But we're just hoping that this thing is transparent enough without politics. If they are apolitical about it, I think that they should be able to attract investors to develop the Alakia axis of town, the real estate around the place. And
there is so much to be done if we can actually.
In 3 years, I doubt if that will happen.
If we can actually, collaborate properly.
Collaboration across the board.
There's so much that could be done.
Now let's talk about affordable housing in Nigeria. What more do you think can be done to ease home ownership barriers for low-income earners in the country by government? I know that the federal government is doing quite a number of things, and people are complaining that this is not enough. The state government also trying to see what it can do, grant waivers here and there, but what are the key things you think that they should be doing to reduce the country's housing deficit at the state level and at the federal government level?
So I think the president is there's this finance scheme that is bringing up at the moment
for mortgage.
For mortgages, that is what people need.
Mortgage finance.
Mortgage finance
across the board.
There's a credit scheme that is actually starting. So that credit scheme would actually pave way for so many things.
That's why I said across the board, not for civil servants.
Not for civil servants.
Yes, that's the issue.
If you're credit worthy, they will actually give you the mortgage that you would, a low interest mortgage, if you will, that you could use in actually either building your house or buying a finished property. For instance, look at the and I know that the government actually has it. Look at the urban flood project in Oyo State.
The one you talked about.
Yeah.
Ogunpa.
The Odogun expansion.
Okay. Yes.
I think. I stand to be corrected. The properties on the banks of these rivers with C of O's, I believe the government actually paid them off the market value.
Compensation.
It's not a compensation. They actually bought the properties off them.
Wow! At the market value.
Yeah.
Market
So
price.
compensation
today's
is
market.
today. Compensation
that would have been billions of naira.
That would have been billions. So if the government could actually, although it's a project with the World Bank, so they saw the need for that to happen.
But you can't say where the funding for that came from.
Yeah, it's actually a World Bank
probably,
project.
Yeah, so probably from the World Bank.
So it's a disaster relief fund, isn't it? If there is a disaster issue in terms of the housing market, I'm sure the government could also go to the World Bank and say we need more money.
But do you think that if actors are not proactive, actors and government in the real estate market space are not active, do you think we're not likely to have a housing crisis in Nigeria?
Well,
given what rents is like now.
That's the thing. If, as I said, if so much money could be spent, there is urban like rural redevelopment, urban regeneration. So you could literally move people from the center of town. This is what China did. In Zhengzhou. What they did was they would build a satellite town, have all the
new town development. Yeah, new town development.
For instance, people in Bere, but I'm not saying they should demolish your property. People in Bere, Uje, all of these places, they could literally build a new town.
Yeah.
And move them there, and then redevelop the center of town.
Now that connects me to the next question because of time. How can the private sector do anything significant without the involvement of government? See what's happening along Moni Ajay. We always talked about. I mean, all of the space there has been, the land there, you can say, have been bought by investors.
Yeah.
Some of them have completed their fence works, infrastructure ongoing in some of the estates, all across, almost till it gets insane.
Yeah.
They're all there. But the government would need to do setting strategic moves. Like there's this talk about having a new central business district.
Okay.
Away from Dugbe, for instance.
Oh,
I
really?
mean, every time I'm driving or just going past Dugbe, what I think to myself is that some of these buildings are dilapidated. I mean, they're going to that part of Dugbe. I think that should be like a major road where you have like a trunk B. What trunk is it now?
I think from Dugbe to is it Dugbe? I think it is from Dugbe all the way to Akpat. It's a road. I think it's a federal road.
It's a federal, but they should be able to expand it. That's what I'm saying. They can. And some of those things should be moved. Like if the government decides, for instance, to move like a general hospital to that site, Moni Ajay access, and move some things, CBD have like, I know that there's this Ilututun that is it's like a proposal, but you see, if they can do that, it will encourage people to go to the suburbs. It will also stop this rural to urban migration, idea, and people will be able to stay at the suburb, especially with good transportation system like tubes and stuff.
The tubes will not work in Nigeria. I'm sorry.
You think so? What about the normal rails that can just connect?
The light rails can work.
The light rails
can work, but tubes will not work. So the thing is, with what is it Ladoja Estate? The government is actually doing things like that at the moment.
Newtown, trying to develop. There's also Ajoda Newtown.
So there's Ajoda. There's that Ladoja's housing estate, which to an extent should be reasonably affordable. And I'm also aware of some estates spiraling up around the circular road coming up. So
owned by government or private sector.
So most of them are actually GRAs.
Okay.
So what the government is actually doing is looking for
investors.
They call them
partners.
Infrastructure partners.
Okay.
So these companies will actually. So you have the same thing with Leary Adigun, for instance. These partners will actually go in. They would actually build infrastructure, build the road, build the drainages, put the lights in place, and then in return they would sell the land, and then it would be.
But the thing is, Femi, the thing is affordability.
So depending on the location, I should think it should be affordable.
For let's say 3-bedroom block,
low cost housing.
Low cost. This should be really, really low cost.
Low cost housing.
You know what the economy is like here, and to be. I know that the government is trying to. There was this award that came up last year or something. This state is, I think, number 1 or so in terms of ease of doing business or something like that.
Your state,
yeah. But then government should do more, because we know that you can't compare the money here in Ibadan with the money in Lagos.
So the thing is, it's more. It's the further out you go.
The cheaper it should be.
Cheaper.
That's what I'm saying.
Ideally it will be. So what the government should actually do, as I said, if you have PPPs, what you could do is you could just take, somewhere along maybe the borders of Oyo State and Ogun State, or the borders of Oyo State and Osun State. Do you understand? And build maybe bungalows. Reasonable. Create a new town.
Estate in Lagos.
Yeah, create a new town and move people there.
But who would want to go there without necessary infrastructure, road?
So that is where the private
security.
That is where the private companies actually come in
to provide those infrastructure.
To provide those infrastructure in return. But as I said, the government has to create an enabling environment for them to thrive. The tax breaks needs to be there. They need to tell them that this is where this land actually gets to. This is what we want specifically
around that place.
Around that area.
So you just agreed with the fact that government will need to do a lot for the private sector itself to be able to make significant moves.
The private man wants to make money. Do you understand?
They'll need to do a lot. Provision of infrastructure, ease of doing business, and incentives.
It will be the government that actually provide great incentives to make them want to invest in that sector. Do you understand? It will be the government that will actually push things there. Let's assume I want to spend $1 billion on something, and then the government comes and says, you know what, where you want to spend, on the real estate, where you want to spend that money, we're going to put a hospital there.
That's what I'm saying.
Put a police station there.
Yeah.
Put
some schools.
Schools there. Do you understand? And tell people, okay, actually, we're moving this secretariat there.
Yes. Those things will make people say, okay, there's a local economy in those
growing up
suburbs.
So
now, before we go, Femi, a very interesting conversation with you, but where I wanted us to talk about the country's infrastructure deficit, but that will be for some other time in the future. Where is your real estate destination?
Well, that's a tough one. Well, the thing is, I like Nigeria. Do you understand? So let me now say, aside Nigeria, I like Dallas, Texas.
Right, tell me why.
Dallas, Texas is growing just as much as Lagos. Do you understand? You have lands in Dallas actually, as cheap as $20,000
without the red tapes, without too many red tapes,
with little red tapes. So you could go there, partner with one of the developers there, and then just build something and sell it off.
What's the ROI like?
Majorly in real estate is ideally 100%.
After how many years?
Ideally, roughly around about maybe 3 years of investing. So it's ideally 100%, but that is for the developer. not for the investor. Obviously, you know.
Well, in the next 2-3 minutes that we've got to wrap this all up, tell me your top 3 residential areas in Ibadan. Top 3
in Ibadan.
Everything combined.
Everything
high-end luxury homes. Okay, let's talk about high-end luxury homes. Where do you think
in Ibadan,
if you're thinking of having a high-end luxury estate, where would you situate them? 3. Top 3.
1, Kubio.
That's in Yagonku.
Yagonku.
Yeah, lovely place.
You understand?
But where would you get the land there?
Well, you exactly. You know, you buy and flip.
Okay.
You know. Yeah. 2, I'd say Oli Estate. Do you understand? And then 3, I would say Kolapo Ishola.
Wow. What about Aerodrome?
So the issue I have with Aerodrome, I'm sorry. The issue I have with Aerodrome is Bodija Market.
Wow, but these are like 2
that's
different
the issue. That's the major issue.
You think that it's too close to Bodija Market?
Yeah, it's too close.
So
to
what's
the
the problem with it being? Your wife might like the fact that it's close to the market now.
The women,
women generally.
The women these days actually go into the market. That's the question.
Well, depending on your class.
Yeah?
Maybe for people like you, they don't have to. They have the maids do all of that.
So the women. So I don't think the market is the. You know.
Like it's a thing to consider. Really, it's not a thing to consider.
So
especially for those that want to buy high-end luxury.
So
thank you so much, Femi Fada, the managing director of Tafotech Group of Companies. That's what I love to call you guys.
Michael.
Thank you for making our time. In the coming months, if you're in the country, we'll do this again together. My name is One Plot. On behalf of the everybody in here, on 103.5 FM, the director, Operation Samawu, the Mr. Steven is here, the the social media people, and everyone else who's been part of this production. Our friends from the United Kingdom, we appreciate all your input. Thank you so much. We'll be back with you by the special grace of God Almighty from 10 next Thursday all the way till about this point. One Plot signing out. Take care.